guys, welcome to episode 12 of the Wealthy Podcast, or we just like to call it Wealthy. I'm Hannah.
And this is Derek.
And guess what? We actually have our first guest appearance host today. What do we call it? Our first guest?
Just a guest.
Just a guest. Okay, well, we have our first guest. His name is Ian. He is one of, do you want to intro him? You kind of know him a little bit better than I do.
Yeah. I'll introduce Ian, but before we do that, let's talk to our people in case you're new.
Yeah. Hey, newer people. So Wealthy is a podcast for you for education and inspirational purposes to help you get the power to live well and wealthy. So we talk about wellness, fitness, health, your financial health, and your wealthiness. I specialize in fitness and health and wellness, I guess.
We both dip into both sides, really.
We do, but my specialties lie more so in that, where Derek specializes more in the finance world and does have a huge knowledge base of fitness as well. So we don't necessarily agree on everything, but
that's what makes the show fun.
That's what makes it fun.
We disagree all the time.
We disagree all the time, and we share really great stories. We're both not shy. We both don't not like to talk. We both are okay talking. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. You can find us online at Wealthy Podcast and check us out everywhere. But okay, episode 12. Tell us about our guest, Derek.
So we, like Hannah said, we've got one of our friends, Ian, here on the show. He's an awesome guy. He, I think, has some great perspective to offer from a lot of the different perspectives, right? Like health and wealth. So really excited to have him on the show. He, I think, has a different approach to things compared to myself and to Hannah. That's why we like to talk to him a lot and get his opinions and perspectives, because they're always just a little bit different and they're always very applicable. So how we know him, I know Ian from my Marine Corps time and my unit there. And we have spent years and years together, really good friends, good and bad times. So really, yeah, let's dive into it. So Ian, just tell us a little bit about yourself, just kind of where you're from, how you grew up. And then, yeah, let's just jump into a little bit of your fitness journey. Let's start there.
Okay, well, I'm Ian Hough, born and raised in Pocatello, Idaho. Great place it is. And just kind of grew up, have an older sister, two younger brothers, mom and dad. Just normal life, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. So when you joined the military, don't you have other military in your family, don't you? Don't you have like a couple of your siblings?
Yeah, they fell in after me. I joined the Marine Corps, and then my older sister was looking for kind of a journey to go through, and I recommended the Air Force for her. So she ended up joining the Air Force, and then my little brother wanted to go to college, and so I recommended the National Guard. And so I've kind of herded them into military careers. So yeah,
do it.
Anything other than the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Are you getting commission from all of these? Like, are you getting a kickback for sending your family members? Are you getting a recruiter bonus or anything?
Wish.
I better be getting one.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring it up now.
Still waiting on the paycheck. So you're a pretty big fitness guy. I turn to you actually a lot for some advice and guidance of what I can do to improve my fitness. I think you are. When I think I'm knowledgeable, then I look at you and it's like, no, there's some knowledge and there's a lot of experience there. But where did that come from? Because I mean, you weren't always like that growing up, right? So what was it like growing up? And then how did you get into the fitness side of your life? How did that become such a big deal for you?
So I basically always played basketball growing up. I tried a bunch of sports through like grade school and stuff. Got to high school and just stuck with basketball because my dad coached it. So it's just something my dad did. So I just kind of fell into basketball. Mm-hmm. So I was always kind of into athletics, and then joined the Marine Corps, got more into like running and fitness and kind of stuff. And then when I got back from the Marines, I worked with this guy whose brother was a bodybuilder. So he was starting. So I was going to the gym with this guy I worked with. Mm-hmm. And then I met my wife there. And then it was just kind of a fitness journey from there, because I just loved being at the gym, and that's something that we shared together.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to learn more and more and just kept diving into it.
So you saw this hot chick at a gym and just wanted to like explore your fitness journey a little bit more, because it was good to see her at the gym, pretty much is what I'm hearing. Shout out to Courtney, who is having a baby, like pretty much like next week.
So what about the friend that he was into bodybuilding? Like, why though? Because I think there are people out there that they see bodybuilders and they probably have the opposite. They say, "Ew, like I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that." So what about him and what he was doing? Like, why did that interest you? Why did you want to get into it?
I don't know. He was just such a cool guy, and I really enjoyed working with him. Like he made work enjoyable. And so I kind of wanted to be like him, and he wanted to be like his brother. And so I was like, "Hey man, can I just go to the gym with you and just kind of learn some things?" And and he was learning just as much as I was. And so it was kind of a journey for both of us. And I just like spending time with him because he was such a cool dude. And then just he kind of started going with his wife, and I was kind of left there by myself. And so I was just kind of forced to learn on my own because I didn't want to stop going.
Do you think that, cause you've been through both having a partner, you know, like having your friend there to work out with, as well as, like you said, he went off, kind of did his own thing. I mean, do you think it was helpful having someone at the beginning to learn with, or do you think it might have like slowed you down? Or like, I don't know, what was better for you, to just be thrown into the deep end by yourself, or to have someone else there to learn with you? Cause I think everyone can relate to both, right?
Yeah. I think I like both, because I liked starting off going with someone else who knew what they were doing, so I didn't feel so stupid right off the bat. You know, like okay, like
what does this machine do?
Yeah. So someone who showed me how machines works and stuff like that, and just kind of how to use each one. Like I had a basic idea because I took weights in high school, but you know, who really lifts weights seriously in high school?
Yeah.
So he kind of showed me a little bit of everything and gave me that base knowledge, and then I just went on to like websites and YouTube and just kind of started developing workouts and figuring out how that all goes, because I needed to. So so it was nice to have that initial kick where, you know, just a quick little intro course basically to show me how to use things. And then with that information, I was able to start off myself. So, but I like starting off myself because then it's like I could develop my own style right out the gate. So I could picture both ways being nice, but I liked having a little intro first.
Yeah. And you're naturally an outgoing guy. Like I know you can make friends with literally anybody, which is awesome. Yeah. So I think, someone like yourself, you probably would be fine if you had to go in the deep end by yourself right off the bat, because you'd be able to just either, like, you're more comfortable being alone, but you're also comfortable meeting strangers and getting into that realm of things as well.
Yeah.
So, but just so that people know, I guess, a little bit about you, what was your body type like when you were coming home from the Marine Corps training and all of that and getting into weightlifting? I mean, were you overweight? Were you scrawny? And like, what were your goals? And, you know, just tell us a little bit about that.
I'd say I was always average, not fat, not skinny, just kind of, you know, just a little bit of the extra. And then, so let's see, I think I weighed 207 when I left for boot camp.
Okay.
Graduated boot camp at 165. So I came out of there looking like a Holocaust survivor. Like it was pretty nasty. Yeah. But then after I got home and back to eating again, I went right back up to like 211, and I stayed right around that range. And so I've always kind of been just that right on the edge of not being skinny, not being fat. So just average.
Okay. And then, so what was your goal when you started working out with a friend, and then did those goals change? And I mean, like, why did you have those goals in the first place? What was your motivation for those?
I'm not sure what my goals were really at the beginning. I just liked going to the gym with a friend. Okay. And so I was like, oh yeah, I want what you want. He wanted to get bigger. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's get bigger. But I didn't know, you know, really anything about what getting bigger was. And then as I went on, it was like, no, I want to get bigger. Okay. I was like, oh, this is what bigger is. Yeah, I want this. Okay. And so I think my goal's always been to get bigger and just to feel good in clothes, out of clothes, like walk around at the pool and just be like, just know people are looking. So just because I think I've always had like confidence issues. So I think like walking around with my shirt off and stuff like that and having people look at me is like a definite confidence booster. And I thrive off of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with two guys here and just kind of what you just said, Ian, I would love to hear, because from my point of view as a fitness instructor and working with women primarily, I would love to hear both of your guys' takes on like male body dysmorphia, you know, and like, because you both have different backgrounds. Derek, you were, I mean, a little bit heavier than average.
I was a butterball growing up.
I mean, we can say you were husky or pudgy or whatever.
I was made of circles.
You were very cute though. And Ian, it sounds like you were very average. You both came home from military training very, very, very skinny, very slim. I wouldn't even say slim because it was kind of the unhealthy side of skinny. But I would love to hear just throughout both of your lives of how body dysmorphia has, it sounds like you've both handled it very healthfully. And it has served you well, but I know women aren't the only ones being touched by all the industry standards for fitness. Even the entertainment industry is setting expectations really, really high. So
freaking Aquaman, geez Louise.
Well, I mean, but do you know how he had to look that good for 3 years? It took 3 years to film that.
Wait, seriously? Wow.
So shout out to Jason Momoa. If you want to come be a guest on this podcast, hit me up. Slide into my DMs, please.
Don't do any sliding into my wife's DMs.
Slide into my DMs, Jason. I know you have a beautiful wife. Like it's all good. It's not like just come be interviewed on our podcast.
Come pet our dog.
Nothing creepy. That sounds.
I said come pet our dog. We have a dog. Come play with him.
I know that sounds so creepy though.
No,
okay, so from both of your childhoods, you can kind of go back and forth until now, and what pressures you're feeling now. Are you up for it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she's out. Go ahead. Or do you want me to start? What do you want?
You first.
You first.
All right. So I think for me, I grew up very overweight, and it came from just that's what I learned in my family. I came from a family that had a lot of just hometown cooking, big meals. That's just how my mom was raised. You ate everything on your plate. You got, you know what I mean? You got a big meal. Dinner was a huge deal. And my mom was great as well, just because I woke up and had breakfast before I went to school. She packed a very hearty lunch. Like she was very, very, you will never go hungry. You will never be lacking. You'll always have everything you need. Great mom. So growing up, to me, food, I was never restricted from food. If I wanted to go in the pantry and get Oreos, I could. There was always a cookie jar with homemade cookies. There was never, and I had friends who were on the flip side that their moms were very like, no, like I control the food. You only get food if I give you food. Not that they like starve their kids or anything weird, but there was no free open pantry. And to me, I was always like, that's so weird. What's wrong with your parents for doing that to you? Like I don't get why they're doing it. So to me, I had no concept of like fitness until really, I think I started getting into maybe like middle school, because I have two older sisters who were in high school. And I remember them starting to go through those stages of, not liking their bodies and peer pressure and feeling judged and, all that horrible, high school's horrible. So seeing that made me aware. And I think it made me aware at a little bit of an earlier age of, oh, my body is different. And starting getting that's when I started to get kind of the negative connotation, I think right around, I would say middle school, like 6th grade kind of a thing. But it wasn't a big deal because I always played sports and I could still compete. So I kind of was like, it's fine. Like I can still run with the guys. I can still play. It's all good. And then as got, a couple years later, that's when I really started to know, okay, I'm not as fast anymore. I'm not as strong anymore. I can't really keep up anymore, but I'll keep trying. And that's when I really started to know, okay, well, now I look different from all these guys. And then, girls come into the scene and you realize that, oh, I can't compete with these guys anymore on, in athletics. And now they're getting attention from girls and I'm not. And well, what's different from me and them? And the obvious thing is physical appearance, right? Because that's the obvious thing. So I think that very quickly gave me that negative, like, okay, well, there's something wrong with me. And then going into high school, I think I had, that's when I started getting teased for being overweight. A lot of teasing, a lot of, and it's just guys being guys. But at the same time, I think that, it's like you grow up thinking, like it's all good. Just be tough, roll off your back. Like you can't, but it sucks, and you definitely, I think, get a complex over it growing up if it's too much. And so I quickly developed more of a negative relationship with my body and always like not being happy with it and always wanting to change it and always looking for ways to change it. But I didn't really know how, My dad, he went to college. He got like a minor in sports medicine or something like that. So he was familiar. He was always my coach growing up, and he was familiar with working out and weights, but kind of more of the old school style of just, back then there wasn't so much science behind it. It was just, you eat chicken and you lift heavy things and you play sports. There wasn't a whole lot of, there was, but they're not like compared to today. But I remember probably my junior year of high school, I just got kind of fed up, and this is where I would say my journey of fitness really started. Was, I think it was sometime in the summer that it was going into my senior year, and I was just like, I'm done. Like I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of looking this way and feeling this way and being ashamed. And, I never wanted to take my shirt off. I never, like, locker rooms were awkward with sports because I still played sports. And even then it was like, I don't want to get made fun of. So I want to change away from people, and I don't want them to see me because I'm going to get made fun of, and then I'm going to feel like garbage. And, never feeling like I fit in and stuff. So that summer going to my senior year, I was like, that's enough. I want to at least be different my senior year. And so I didn't know what to do about it. So I was like, well, I know running is a thing and people run to lose weight, I guess. So I went to the high school track like one night a week or 2 nights a week, whatever I could muster up the courage and the energy to go do. And I didn't even know how to count laps on the track. Like, I didn't know that 4 laps was a mile. I didn't even know that. And so I would just run. And then I remember I would run like maybe 1 lap, and then I'd get the stitch in your side, where your side hurts. And it was really interesting though, because I think I really had a mental turning point by doing this, because I learned that if I could run until that went away, I could go 10 times further. 1 lap turned into 10 laps, because once I got through that first lap or 2, and it was like the stitch hurt and my breathing hurt, and I was starting to get sweaty and all that discomfort and actual physical pain from this pain in my side. Cause I probably wasn't stretching and warming up. You know what I mean? I would just walk down the stairs and now I'm running, like there wasn't any system to it at all. But it taught me that if I can just get through this moment and just wait until it stops hurting, I can keep going and I can do more. And then it's okay and it's enjoyable. So that's when that really started. And then I started lifting weights in high school. Yeah. Just doing weight class or, lifting with like the baseball team and stuff like that. But at the same time could never keep up, was never strong. So I always felt inadequate. And then this just carries on. And it's honestly not until recently that I've actually felt more happy and comfortable and proud of my body, because I'm actually seeing the changes and I've learned what my body responds to. And I feel like I actually make a conscious decision of, okay, I'm going to tweak my workouts to this way or this method or style, because this is how I want to affect my body right now. And then I can do that and I see the actual changes. And then, okay, now I'm going to switch to, kind of like not bulking and cutting, but it's a similar mentality of I'm making a decision to do this because I know it's going to give me this results if I do it. And, getting to a point in my life of being able to do that is huge. But even to this day, I still struggle with just, those, the things that you'd get made fun of in school or problem areas on your body, or, like the joke with bodybuilders and weightlifters, like, oh, my small calves, or like my triceps, I can't get, they always have like one body part. Every bodybuilder in the world has one body part that they just like, they hate it, whether it's a guy that's like, I can't get rid of my love handles, or a guy that's just like, I just can't get my traps big, like whatever it is. And I bet that's something happened when they were growing up, and they could have like a killer body or, be a great athlete or a great performer, but that's just always going to stick in their mind forever. And every time they look in the mirror, their partner in life or their friends or someone could be like, you look amazing. And they'll say, yeah, but I'm still working on this. They will always have the mentality. And I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time of they're blessed because they will never be satisfied. So they're always pushing for improvement. But at the same time, they're cursed with that I'm never good enough mentality. And I think that that's a very, very delicate, and it can be a very scary balancing act, because if it swings one way, then too far, then they could turn into getting complacent and things like that. And then they spiral away from progress. And then that can lead, like depression and things like that, because now they really are below what their standards were. Or it could swing the other way where they put so much into it that they actually harm themselves or do, radical, like starvation diets or things like that. So yeah, I think it's a serious issue though. Like even dumb stuff, looking at Instagram, things like that. If I see a very fit guy or something, it's like, man, like I'll just, okay, well, I wish I had that. I wish I could do that. Like, what's he doing? What's that? What's different? What can I do? How can I, and it's half of it is motivation to improve and be more like that person I see. And then the other half is, man, like, I don't know if I could ever do that. Like freak, but yeah. So I mean, I've rambled on. What about you, man? Like, yeah, you growing up and where's some of your, what's your
copy and paste, man?
Yeah. Right. It's crazy.
I think I've always been aware of my body, I guess. Cause like all growing up playing basketball, you always go shirts and skins, and then
the worst
shirts, shirts and skins. And it's like, then the girls walk in cause they got practice next. And so it's like, I was always sucking in, I didn't want them to see how fat I was.
And you can't run fast anymore.
Yeah, my fat, so you're trying to breathe and trying to suck in your stomach all at the same time. Yep. And so like to this day, I still suck in my stomach because I always feel like someone's going to see it poking out or something, it's like, so just from a young age, I've always had just that habit of, I'm going to suck in while I walk and just make sure my chest is up and out. And I've always been conscious of that. And so, yeah, just starting off playing sports, the whole shirts and skins thing in school. There's always girls at the gym because they got practice next, or they're walking through. It's just like, there's always that, somebody's going to be watching. So it was a constant mindset. And then weights in high school, just changing in the locker room. I'm pretty sure I had like the quickest shirt time change in school. Just like as soon as something was off, the next shirt was back on. So it was super quick because I just hated people seeing me with my shirt off. And then, those puberty years when you have like rock tit or whatever, you get the swelling and the puffiness and the nipples and stuff like that. And I had my love handles. I was like, man, I've just got shapes bulging out of my clothes, And so it's just super hard going through those years. And then, after I graduated boot camp, I was like, super skinny. I could see my stomach for once, in my entire life. So I was like telling my sisters, Cass, look at my abs. I finally got abs. And I look back at pictures of those days and I didn't have abs. I just didn't have fat.
Yeah.
And so like realizing that now, I was like, dude, you didn't have abs. You didn't have anything. Like you just didn't have fat. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of opened up my eyes, and then went to infantry school and stuff. And my instructor was more about, with our crew, he wanted our physical fitness scores to improve. So every day after class, when everybody else was studying or just hanging out, we were always at the gym or running and stuff like that. We ran all over California, just running and weightlifting. And that's kind of where I got my first taste of like real weightlifting and fitness. And I thought that was pretty cool. And, so then I got home and kind of, wouldn't say I kept into it, but then maybe a couple months after that, that's when I met my buddy that was lifting and stuff. So it wasn't too long in between, but yeah, I still kept running once I got home because I liked being fit, because I was running like 6 miles a day at infantry school. So it was just like every day I was still running. So I kept that up, and then I kind of slowly died down. But by the time I kind of stopped running is when I started lifting. And so it was kind of a smooth transition. And then I was always just kind of aware of how I looked, and it's still kind of that way. And I never feel like I'll be good enough. And no matter how skinny I get or how big I get or whatever, it's just, I always look in the mirror and see my love handles and my puffy nipples, and just, I always see it. And it's like you said, a blessing and a curse. Cause I look at myself, I'm like, man, I've come so far, and I still see those spots, and I'm just going to keep working harder till those are gone. But then again, no matter how good I look, cause sometimes I'll turn to the side and look at my side profile. I'm like, dude, I'm like, nice and small waist, but I turn to the front and just my body shape is square. So all I'm seeing is the little love handles on the top of my shorts. So it's like, man, it's still not going away. Even though I turn to the side, I almost disappear because my stomach's so flat. But so it's just like, and I walk away from the mirror like, man, I'm a piece of, so I was like, I hate it because I never feel like I'm good enough. But that, next time I'm in the gym, I was like, I should probably do abs today, or I should probably do a little bit more cardio. And so sometimes it gets me in that good mood, and sometimes it gets me in that bad mood. And, sometimes like with my wife, it's just like I get in bed, I want to turn the lights off before I take all my clothes off and get in bed. It's like, I don't want her to see me tonight. And other nights it's like, I'm going to leave those lights on until,
Oh yeah.
Tell my eyes are closed. Like
until you're like, you saw this, right? Okay, we're gonna go.
We got like a mirror in front of the bed. I'll just sit up there flexing and stuff like that. Come to bed, babe. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'll come to bed. So some nights are good, some nights are bad, but yeah, I'm always conscious, and even in the middle of summer because I work outside, so I'm like super tan in the summer, and I'm really lean because I'm doing construction, so I'm always always on a calorie deficit. So I'm always trying to make up for it. So I'm usually pretty lean in the summer, just naturally, not doing anything different. And so that, you go to the pools a lot. So I go to the pools and nice and tan and fairly lean, and I'm walking around, I'm still thinking that I look fat, and I'm always still sucking my stomach in or making sure my arms are flexed when I'm standing in line at swimming pools, for diving boards or something. Just anytime I'm standing still where someone has an opportunity to sit there and observe me for a long period of time, I'm making sure they got something good to look at. And it's almost kind of hard on me because it's just like I can never relax. I'm always worried about what people are thinking about me, and it is definitely hard. Yeah, and I don't know if that's from just society's perspectives or just me pushing it on myself, like looking at it, like you said, looking at Instagram. It's just like I follow all these Olympian athletes as, they stay 5% body fat year round, which is definitely not cool. I was like, that's hard. Not a normal person can obtain that and maintain it. And so you just look at that year round. It's like, dude, these guys are still shredded. There's not even a competition coming up. And so it's so hard.
Well, that makes it like a full-time job you hear about these actors and stuff that are preparing for films, whether they're gaining weight or losing weight for their role. And thank goodness they're actors and that's what they do, because like that's all they do literally is doing the workouts or eating all day, every day. And just as average people, like it's really hard to look the way we want to with the expectations that we set on ourselves, with the ideas that we assume the people that we want to look like have a busy life like us. And we assume that, their 1 hour workout is way more efficient and way more better than way more better. That sounded really intelligent. Way better and effective than what we're doing, and it's like, crap, why is theirs working for them, but it's not at all working for me? And I think, you guys both, I thank you for sharing and getting a little bit vulnerable with me and the listeners. I so appreciate it, just because it's really interesting to hear the male perspective, because while there's equality and everything fighting for women's rights right now, and happy National or International Women's Day on Friday, everybody, March 8th, if you didn't know, celebrate your woman. But I feel like there's this self-love and body positivity movement happening for women, but where is it happening for men? And are you guys too hard and too tough that you don't need that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, about that, I think that it's, I think there's a double standard where, let's say that Hannah does a post, like one of her normal posts, and she says, had a great day today, loving my body, it's not perfect, normal self-love post, great. Mm-hmm. If I feel like if I did that, and let's say it was a picture of me in a swimsuit, or, like that's what every, almost every like fitness Instagram person out there does. They take a picture of them in some gym clothes or a swimsuit or something like that. And it's, come a long way. This is my journey. It's great. But I feel like if a guy does that, if it's not the right style, where it's like, I'm an Instagram fit inspo person, it's just making great progress. So proud of myself. I feel like guys, it's like, oh, what a douche, like what a gym bro. Like he's so into himself. He just loves himself. And it's like, or he's worked his ass off to get somewhere in his life, and he's just proud of what he's done, and it's interesting how you're trying to say that you're better than people and you think you're so much better. And it's like, or I'm just proud of myself. Like, so yeah, I think there's definitely a double standard. Kind of what you were saying is that it's okay to love your body, but I feel like it's hard for guys to do it. You have to fit a very small niche where a girl can post any picture and it's great. And I'm probably, if people are saying I'm dumb right now, that's fine. Welcome to opinion land. We all have different ones. I don't know. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. It's like, because I tried to do that whole Instagram thing, like, oh, I'm going to try and motivate other people and stuff.
And I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool because I look up to you so much. So to see your progress and hear your opinions was really cool.
Yeah. But I just, like I said, like I tried it and it got so hard to maintain doing Instagram posts all the time, working full time and finding time for the gym. It's just like, and I wasn't getting anything really out of the Instagram thing. I was like, okay, well, if I'm not inspiring other people and all that stuff, I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time and put myself out there if other people aren't going to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. But then you see other Instagram models that are females like, oh, I ate a salad today and here's how my tummy looks. Like, no, that's how you look all the time. Like you didn't earn that. but I'm going in the gym slaying myself and like making little by little progress, but I don't get as many likes because I don't have boobs or, not female.
Hey, I'm just here to say that boobs don't get you likes. Thank you very much, because I don't have that either. But
oh my gosh.
But anyways, no, I think with you guys, there's this huge imbalance in understanding and support. And I think it's really funny. It's almost to the, like, I feel like guys that are in this journey and trying to just share their journey or inspire others through their journey. It's like all of a sudden you walk out in public with like a tank top on or like shorter sleeves. And it's like, all of a sudden you're brave. It's like, oh, thank you for sharing and being so brave. Like you're courageous for being so out there and putting your body as is in public and like owning it. Like that's pretty intense. And I think I have experienced that as well with my own personal body, but then other gals too. We've talked, and it's just like, why all of a sudden am I brave if I'm just trying to wear what I want to? It's too hot for sleeves. Like I don't want to wear a shirt with sleeves. Thank you very much. It doesn't make me a hero or a warrior or whatever. And I'm not making a stance. I'm just too hot for sleeves. So, right? Yeah. Amen. But yeah, so I would love to, do you guys have any other comments on body dysmorphia?
It exists.
Totally. Absolutely. For between everybody. Like I think everyone is, everyone can be susceptible to body dysmorphia and the expectations that society or wherever we get those expectations. It's not just magazines anymore. I remember hearing that all growing up. It's be like the magazines. It's like, no, absolutely like that. But now everyone gets it from everywhere. Since y'all both have wives, I'd love to hear how you support your wives in their fitness journeys. And when they're feeling down a little bit. And I mean, Derek, you can talk a little less if you want to. Ian, we can talk about your wife since she's not here. Again, shout out to Courtney. But yeah, tell me about that. I think you guys have a good idea.
No, it's not a problem. So I think my mentality is just to try to be supportive of anything and everything. So if you say like I never want to be negative about anything. So if you say you're going to go, like I'm a weightlifter, right? I like the gym. I like to lift weights and work out and run on the treadmill and do the normal gym thing. But your whole style is like, you really love group fitness, right? And that's cool. And you do your own workouts on your own, but you go to group fitness classes, you go to them. So, but just because it's not my thing, like I try to be very conscious of never bagging on it. And just like, if I do say like, just say, well, I don't like them, but it's cool if other people like them. And if you want to go. So if you say like, oh, I'm going to go to a yoga class or yoga practice, it's like, yes, go, great, have fun. Like not, oh, you're not going to go to the gym. Cause I think that would be just dumb. And I just try to be just blanket supportive and positive of whatever you decide to do. So if you decide you're going to try a new eating style or workout style or schedule or anything, just to say, okay, cool. Yes, do it. And never try to say, well, actually you should do it this way. I think it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what you're doing. I'm just glad that you're into it and you're doing something and you're doing things in general. And yeah, and then, occasionally throwing out invites. So, hey, do you want to come with me to the gym, but not pressuring you into it and not, I don't try to make you feel pressured or like bad if you say no. But letting you know that there's always an open invite if you do want to come with me. I think the one way I could be more supportive, and we've talked about this a lot, is me coming to more of your style, of just coming to more of your group fitness type things, especially if you're teaching, and just being more present in when you go. but yeah, so that's where I could improve, but that's generally the idea of what I try to do to help you out and kind of slip in the voice of reason here and there of, well, and because we both struggle, like we both love our ice cream. So I think, for both of us, it's not that Hannah's this ice cream fiend. Both of us are. I'm just as guilty, if anything. But just being that voice of like, let's try to cut back to once a week kind of a thing. But without being you're eating too much or, never. I just try to stay away from anything negative and just always be positive, no matter what it is.
Yeah, same thing. Just stay away from the negatives and always have that open invite. Like I said earlier, that I met her at the gym. She was a trainer. She was training her parents. Her brother-in-law is a national bodybuilder. So I was coming into this fitness family with no background. So I'm like, so I was learning a lot from her. And then, it was kind of one of those guy pride things where I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it. You tell me, like, you're a girl. Like, what are you
doing girl exercises.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can't get big doing that stuff. And so I kind of learned a lot on my own, just kind of out of pride. And then just kind of as I learned more, she kind of stopped. I think it's kind of my fault because I kind of got her off her diet and stuff like that. Because I'm like, you're so perfect at fitness, like tone it down a little so we can be a real couple. And so she toned off her diet and started gaining weight and just kind of just stopped being her flawless self. And so that was kind of my fault. And then I kind of started getting more into it and wanted the diet more. And so then we kind of butted heads back and forth with the differing styles. And then she kind of had some health things go on. So she was gaining weight and felt bad. She couldn't go to the gym and stuff. And so it's just one of those like, hey, if you want to go to the gym tonight, we can. If you need me to stay home with you tonight, I can. So just kind of not being that gym douche, like, oh, I have to go to the gym and I'm going whether you're going or not. So it's like, I can stay home and spend the night with you. So I think that makes a difference, just putting down, because they say don't miss a night at the gym because then you can't achieve your goals. It's like, well, there's a different goal at hand here, like being a good spouse. So, and, one night at the gym isn't going to be a total killer because I'm not competing at national levels where, and missing a night, will really do that to you. So just kind of understanding that I can take those nights off to be there for her. And then like having her come with me when she can, just always saying like, push her when, when she needs to be pushed. Like, hey, you kind of been taking it off this week. Like, let's go at least run a mile or something, and so just trying to keep her where she needs to be, but keeping her mental and physical health where they need to be as well.
Hi.
You guys are exchanging weird looks.
No, I
sparked something.
No, it's just funny because I'm on the side of I'm a very habitual person. I live by my habits and my routines. Very like it's hard. It gives me anxiety to break out of my routines and habits. So that's one thing that Hannah and I have struggled with a little bit as a couple is me having, no, I need to go. Like, it doesn't matter that it's 8:00 at night and we both have early mornings tomorrow. Like,
and that we haven't seen each other in 3 weeks.
You're right.
This
Exactly.
is like our first time that we're not ships passing in the night. Like we actually have time to sit down and eat a meal together. But you're going to the gym.
But I think I've gotten a lot better, and I've actually started going to the gym in the morning, even though that's really hard to wake up at 4 a.m. to go lift and run miles on a treadmill at 4 a.m.
But you've also like turned into liking, I mean, not to
5 a.m. was okay, but I've had a recent change in my schedule at work. So now I'm going at 4 a.m. That's been really hard. Just that extra hour has been just killing me.
Yeah. So Ian, you and Courtney have gone through a lot in the last little bit. And I mean, I hope sometime she can come down and we can have her on the show too, because it would be great to hear her thoughts. And that way I'm not completely outnumbered here with the guys. But you guys, I think, have grown a ton from the struggles that you have had. And you've learned how to support each other. And granted, like the things that you were expressing a little bit before, like that can create strain on any relationship, friendships, marriages, parent-child relationships. But as a relationship, as a marriage, like that's really tough. So cohabitating with someone, and Derek, you can speak on this too, because I know I'm kind of, I'm less in habits than you are right now in fitness, just because I'm trying to make time and make sure everyone else in the world gets their workouts, and mine are taking a back seat. So if you have any comments, feel free to, obviously. But like, how do you cohabitate with someone while working on your goals while still supporting someone else while they're maybe not necessarily aligned in your goals?
Give and take. Like, you can give all your time and whatever, and then, understand that she needs time. So it's like, yeah, okay, I've been to the gym 2 weeks straight. Like, okay, she deserves some time now. So just kind of understand, like, hey, she let me work out uninterrupted these days. Like, I can give her one day, and, just kind of do what she asks of me. And that's just, it's hard. Like, cause once you get going, and I understand the habit thing is like, dude, like, I can't miss a night at the gym. Like, I've been going strong. I'm making good gains. Like, I'm in the mood. Like, I don't really want to stay home tonight. But then you see a look on her face, and it's just like, okay, this is a little more important right now. Like, this day will matter in the future. So it's just kind of like, hey, if you give me some time, I'll give you some time. So that's just kind of like the best thing you can do. And just understand that, like, unless you're like competing at that national level where you need to be 3% body fat, you can give a day to something that matters. And it's hard to make that mindset switch. And like, I've done that before too, like where, hey, it's Friday. I know that it's our date night. We're going to have pizza tonight and stuff. And I'm not going to make it to the gym because like we get food right after I get home from work. So there's been a lot of Fridays where I go in the morning so that I can, I'll make that sacrifice in the morning so that I can spend time with her at night. So you can shift your schedule around or something, or just take that day off and make up for it somewhere else. But it matters in the long run with other goals as well. So yeah, the give and take, and then the sacrifice and changing schedules and just doing what you can to make her happy, as well as not, at the expense of your goals. So just aligning your goals with your family.
Well, and I think too, like, just from a spousal standpoint, we need to, and I mean, you guys as well, but like, for Courtney and I, we need to not give that look when we don't need it. We almost shouldn't cry wolf when it's like, we don't, like, just because we love having you guys home, or if the situation is reversed, whatever, but just because we're homebodies doesn't mean we need to turn our spouses into homebodies. And we can't cry wolf with the looks that actually like work for our spouses and the people who are supporting us. Like, it's just as important for us to support them and for us to be supported. There needs to be a mutual give and take. It's not just one-sided. So love that.
Yeah. And I think I agree with all of that as well. And on top of it, I think that, so Hannah and I, both extremely busy people trying to, Hannah being a business owner and launching her career as well as mine. I think that in addition to being willing to slow down for a second to give the other person time, I think at the same time as well, if you have two people and you're in a relationship and you're really you both have big goals and big dreams, and you're both trying to support each other in that and doing that, I think that a huge part of that support is understanding that there are times that you will take a backseat. I think that is huge. And I think that is extremely hard for people to accept, is that there will be times that I am not number one. And I think that society frowns on that because, like, no, if you love a person, they will, it's like, yeah, I would die for Hannah. I would kill for Hannah. And she knows, and she better know. And if she doesn't know this, it's my own fault. That even that if she did give me a look or said, no, I need you tonight, or I need you to do this, I need you to, you know what I mean? That yes, if it is serious and I get the, cause she doesn't abuse it and cry wolf and all that. Hannah's very, very supportive of my goals and my dreams and trying to help me balance everything. But I would hope that she would know that although, yes, she does take a backseat a lot of times for those extra times of, yes, it would be fun to be home together and, Netflix and chill and ice cream and all that jazz, which is great. But at the same time, I know there are times that when I'm home and I'm done, my workout is over, I'm done from the office, and the rest of my night is open. There are nights that she's going to be up for another 3-4 hours working on her laptop, working. And she's not available for me to have long conversations with that. She knows I like to have long, deep, very focused conversations. That's how I connect with people. And so there are times that I need to understand as well. Like this is a great example that she can't do that right now. She can't talk to me right now. She can't give me attention right now. And I need to be okay with that because I'm supporting her dreams and I want her goals to keep moving forward and her career to move forward. And I know that if I really said, no, can you please take a night off tonight or give me 1 hour, that I know that she would say, yeah, okay, I will give you an hour for sure. No problem. And she would laptop would snap shut, not 5 more minutes. Let me finish. It's okay. What do you need? What do you want to do right now? I'm yours for this hour and I'll just stay up an extra hour. So I think that's huge. It's being willing to give up your own dreams just a little bit because I'm a very huge supporter, right? Like don't give up your dreams ever. But at the same time, when you're talking about a relationship, you need to give a little bit up. And you also need to understand when it's time for you to take a back seat and that you'll make it up later.
So love it. Thank you guys. So quick, let's shift to finance a little bit and relationships. I think this is a great segue. So with the whole give and take attitude, what if your spouse like just really wants to go blow a ton of cash on a shopping night, dinner? You guys are in like a saving, like what do you do in those situations? Because us as a couple, like couples, we're kind of in the same situation. You guys have a baby on the way. You have 2 furry children already, but you are homeowners. You just bought a house last year. Was it last year? He's nodding his head yes, but I have his microphone, so that's why you can't hear him. Ian is saying yes. Derek and I just bought a home. We have 1 furry baby. No 2-legged children on the way anytime soon. But
sorry, Mom.
Sorry, everybody who's asking. None of your business, first off.
Oh my God.
Not your uterus. Anyways, okay. But I'm kind of mad that I even said that. Strike that from the record.
It's recorded forever.
Okay, so how do you handle financial disturbances in the relationship, and what happens when you agree? How do you keep homeostasis? How do you keep things functioning? And how did you guys meet your goals of home ownership, of everything? So loaded question. Enjoy.
I think, for the first thing you said, just what happens when the other person, right, is in a different mindset from you. I think that's what it breaks down to, is if you're still in the saving mode and they get into a mood where they're just, everything's great, let's go on a little shopping spree, whatever. I think it's just like any conflict resolution. It's okay. You need to recognize it first. Be like, hey, I get it. Like we're doing good. We've been meeting our goals. Kind of want to just blow some steam. I think it's meeting a little bit. So recognize it so they don't feel shut down. Don't just jump straight into, no, we can't do that, because that's hard. Because then it's like you feel rejected, I think, in a way. So, but I think it's recognize it and then move on to what can we do that is still like, let's still do something, compromise, right? So, all right, well, maybe let's just go get a nice dinner and ice cream instead of a shopping spree, go buy items, and I think also having a discussion, a fun, I think keep it fun and light. It's not an argument. It's not a fight. It's a conversation of, well, let's remember our goals. Like if we don't buy this one thing, that's for us, we're that much closer to buying a house. And it was, oh my gosh, yeah, we wanted a house so much more than we wanted to buy whatever dumb little things along the way that were shiny and caught our eye. And maybe Hannah and I would get very excited about. It was no, but house. We want house. And that was a very big grounding. So I think having a unified goal and a unified direction and plan, and this is what we're doing, and we've both agreed that we're sacrificing, but then still recognizing that we're human and finding something little to sacrifice and sate that craving.
Well, for me is like, I'm not very smart with money. and I just understand I make the money and then I give it to people who need it so that I can live. And Courtney's a lot more organized. So she's got like schedules like, hey, this is coming out this day. This is coming out this day. We pay these guys on this day. This is how much this is. And so it's like, I just make the money and I give her the checks and say, hey, just do what you want. I do what you need. And as long as the lights are still on, like I trust you. And, there's a lot of things where she's like, hey, I can't make it over to the bank today to pay your car. Can you do it? And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Just tell me the amount and where to go. And I do it, so just understanding that money is my weakness and that I don't understand the whole finance thing and scheduled payments and all that stuff. Just like, that's smart. Not trying to be like, oh, I'm the man. I pay the bills. Like, no, she's organized. She knows how to do it. I'm going to let her do it. And then like, if I want something, or if I've kind of been needing something, I'll be like, hey babe, like I kind of want this, or my truck needs this. And like, I need an oil change. Can we do it? She'll be like, yeah, here, wait till the 15th. I'm like, all right, I can do that. So just kind of asking questions and just kind of trusting her has been like my help. And then just, yeah, my big thing is just trusting her. Just like, hey, can we do this? No? Okay. So.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
So you can tell me no if you want, but I thought it'd be funny or fun if you told a story about the Mustang.
Oh, my BMW?
Or the BMW. Yeah. Why did I think Mustang? Yeah. The BMW, how that came into your life. And that's just an example of, a lesson that you've learned and how you learned to move on from that. And,
And not, you are done with money, Ian. So tell us a story of how you're done with money. Like, no. But it's just, you're not the only person who has been put in this situation. So yeah, tell us the story. And then how did you, or how are you getting out of that and making that something that works for you?
Okay. Yeah. So this is how dumb I am.
No, that's not what it is.
No. So
we don't talk about our friends like that on our show. Do not.
I'll talk about myself.
After the show.
Yeah. So anyway, they're at in Oceanside, California, just outside Camp Pendleton. There's a lot of car dealerships and there's a lot of scammers, and they get you. And so one day I was out at the mall and had no ride back because the shuttle didn't come out. Some guy pulls up. He's like, hey man, you need a ride? I was like, yeah, this is kind of iffy, but he's like, no, trust me, man, I'm a Marine, so I'll hook you up. So he took me back to his freaking car lot. And I was like, okay. He's like, well,
this isn't the way back to the base.
This looks a lot like your basement. So he took me to his car lot, and I was like, okay, well, our shuttle's coming here. He's like, no, I need to stop here for a minute. And so like just hanging out at this car lot and found this BMW I liked. And I was like, well, this is pretty cool. He's like, do you like it? And I was like, well, it's cool. Like, I don't know. And he's like, well, let's see if you can like afford it. And I was like, all right, credit check. And so then go in there and sign what I thought was a credit check paper, but it was basically like a loan application for this car. And then next thing you know, he's telling me that I own the car or getting a loan for the car. And so then I was like, I didn't sign it. Like, I don't want it. Like, I thought we were just doing a credit check. He's like, no, man, you said you wanted it. I was like, no, I didn't. And then I was like, and he's like, well, you already signed the paperwork and I sent out the loan application. So it's yours. And so got a stupid loan for this BMW for like 17% interest. It was like, what was it? Like a loan for like a $10,000 on the car, which was like worth $8,000. And then like with interest over the 5 years or whatever it was, I would end up paying $22,000 for this $8,000 car. And I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm freaking out. Like, is there anything I can do? And he's like, well, has the loan been approved and all that stuff? And I was like, yeah, I just got to pick it up. He's like, well, basically it's yours now. Like, there's nothing you can do. So I picked up the stupid car, drove it home from California. And I had it for a while, and the payments were like $300 a month, like for the stupid little car, man. And then I just had problems with it all the time. So it was in the shop all the time. And then one time it stopped running, and I had like no money to fix it. And like it was like 3 different problems, and it wouldn't even run. It was like fuel pump and fuel filter, like things that needed. And I was like, oh man, I don't even have money to fix it. And so I just kind of stopped. I borrowed a car from my grandpa and just drove that around while I tried to figure out something about this car. And so I was like, well, I'm not even going to pay for it if it doesn't work. And so I just stopped paying for it. And so they basically, after I even tried selling it and all that stuff, nobody would buy it. And it's just super bad shape. And my credit score is down the toilet. And so I get a loan or a letter from the bank like, hey, you've gone this long without paying. So you can either pay us this $5,000, which is basically like a bankruptcy thing, like give us this money, or we'll tow it back and then you'll pay like attorney fees, towing fees, all that stuff, which was like $12,000. So I was like,
gosh,
I can't afford that either. So I was going to every credit union in town, just like, hey, can I get a loan for this $5,000? Like and they're like, dude, you're basically getting a loan to declare bankruptcy. And I was like, well, it's better than the $12,000. Like, how am I going to pay all that? And I just went to every bank in town, just rejection after rejection. I cried in several parking lots, just knowing that my life was over. I'd never be able to buy a house and do all this stuff. And I was so upset. And so my sister had a friend who was a loan manager at some bank. And so I went there like the day before Thanksgiving, like I'm heading down to Utah to, go to Thanksgiving. And I'm just like, all right, this is my last credit union in town that I haven't checked and stuff like that. And this guy's like, no, dude, I'll help you out. And so he looked at the letter and kind of worked some numbers around. He's like, well, why'd you stop paying? I was like, well, it just stopped working. I didn't have money. And so he's like, well, how much to get it fixed? And I gave him a cost for all the parts and stuff. So he's like, yeah, man, I'll give you the loan. So he gave me the loan for the $5,000 bankruptcy thing, and then an extra $1,000 to get parts and get it running. And so I was like, sweet. And he gave it to me for like some sweet interest rate because I co-signed with my grandma. And so I got a pretty good interest rate on it. And so it was like a $6,000 loan, better than the $22,000 loan I was looking at from before. And then what happened after that? So I got the loan, went to Thanksgiving, like all excited, like, all right, cool. I'm out from under this thing. Just a huge burden off my shoulders. And then got it running, had it working for a while. And then, so apparently the bank that I got that original loan through had some scheme or something. They mishandled money. And so they're basically paying back people's loans. And so I got a check in the mail from them for pretty much the amount I got that loan for, like that $5,000 was like, okay, like they had some lawsuit. And so they're paying people back like, oh, we illegally obtained this money and stuff like that. And so I basically got a check back for that amount. I was like, what? So I paid off a bunch of bills with some of that money. And then me and my wife went on a cruise with that money. And like, well, I was like, okay, dude, this is sweet. And so then did all that. And then I was just kind of tired of it, and I wanted a truck. I wanted something I could use at work and stuff. And having a BMW in Pocatello where it snows and there's like dips everywhere, it was a terrible car to have. Like I can't have a sports car in the winter. And I work construction, so I was like, I need a truck. And so I was like looking all over, but then I was like trying to get out of my car, but I couldn't get out of my car because I still had that loan and my credit was terrible. But after I got that $6,000 loan, I was like making payments and stuff like that. So after a year of having that new loan, I made payments regularly because it was like $100. So it was like better than the $300. So my credit went up to like 658 because it was down to like 450 something. So I was like clear up to like 650. And she's like, dude, you've done really well. And then Courtney's uncle's like, hey man, I need a car because he was here and he's like, I need a car to get back down to Arizona. And I know you're selling yours. And I was like, dude, you're not going to buy my $3,000 BMW just to drive back to Arizona. He's like, no, I want to help you out. And so I was like, sweet. So he paid like $2,500 for it. And then I got like a signature loan for the extra $500 difference. And so I was able to get my own signature loan without co-signing or anything because my credit score was good enough. And the lady at the bank was like, no, you've done really well. Like, we'll give you this signature loan. So I got my first signature loan. And then she talked numbers. She's like, so you're looking into a truck? What do you want to do for a truck? I was like, okay, like really? Like you're willing to give me a loan for a truck? And so, yeah, she gave me numbers and stuff like that. She's like, how much do you want to spend? I was like, I don't want to spend over this. So she gave me my budget. I went and found a truck and she's like, oh, we wrote off that $500 loan you had or whatever. No, it was a $1,000 loan because they don't do signature loans under so much. And so I got a $1,000 loan, even though I only needed like the 600. And so she's like, we wrote off the rest of that one for you. And then she's like, you can afford this truck and stuff like that. So I went and got that truck and I've been making payments. And I'm pretty sure my credit score, let's see, we went to go buy that house and my wife's credit wasn't very good. And I bought the house on my own credit score, not even combined. So like my credit score and all that stuff was good enough to buy a house by myself.
Nice.
So I definitely came out from under that and just understanding like, hey, you need to make payments. If it's the last thing you do, like, just it's worth it to spend that money and to not buy all the shiny things because you need to. This is like, no, you need to take care of your future. And so I was able to buy a house because I made the smarter decisions and not just blowing all my money on stupid stuff that I wanted. It's like, no, I gotta pay my car payment. Now I gotta pay my truck payment. Now I gotta pay insurance on it, because I had to have insurance or else the bank wouldn't give me the loan. So it's like, great, I got full coverage on my, big old truck. So it's like, it was expensive to have, but it paid off in the long run when I was able to get my house. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, definite turnaround.
Yeah. Well, just last thing, what would you say, I guess, like, how would you sum up like the lesson you learned or, what advice would you give to the people from that story?
Just ask questions. I just went in there and just signed a stupid piece of paper and ended up owning a car out of it. Like, if you're going to do something, like, ask questions, know what you're signing. Don't sign anything just because, like, oh yeah, just sign here and it'll read, sign, ask questions, shop first. Online shopping has made it. That's how I did my truck. Like, I didn't go to any dealerships because I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to sign any papers, nothing. I did all online shopping, found the truck I wanted, had my dad go test drive it for me, see if it worked. And then I went down for a physical test drive and then came home with a pre-approved check that day because I had just done everything online, got a go ahead from someone else because I wasn't even going to go talk to a dealer. So I was like, I did all my online shopping. I did my research. I checked, like good mileage for trucks and, just the years and like what was good mileage for certain years of trucks and this and that. I did all my research first, looked on Car Gurus, KSL, all that stuff. And I just found the best deal for me. It was in my price range. I didn't try to aim high, just got my right price range and just asked questions.
Yeah. I mean, how important it is. Oh my goodness. It's like I've never talked. How important do you think it is to like live within your means? Like after buying the BMW, like have you just learned more so that it's important to buy what you can pay for and then eventually what you can pay for is going to get greater because of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially now, like owning a house, it's like, okay, we could have like maxed out our budget and found some super fancy house, but then we'd be paying for the fancy house.
Or you could have gone on a ton of cruises and put it all on the credit card and never been able to get a house, So it's like,
I don't need to go on cruises all the time. I don't need to live on the beach. And it's like, I'd much rather have a nice house and be stress free. And so being able to do work on my house with the extra money I have is so much better because I love doing stuff to my house anyway. So it's like, I'd much rather have a cheaper house that I can afford, that I can do stuff to with that extra money and still be able to go out on dates with my wife and not stress about being so under the toilet just because I wanted to have a nicer house.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm nodding my head like I am at a concert here, but even if I didn't agree with everything you were saying, what you are saying, and from your example, like I know that it is something huge, like, and it like just rings so true, that it's like, don't be dumb, live within your means. Like, my mom always says, like, eat beans and rice as long as you need to be able to, upgrade, and afford the ramen to go with your beans and rice. But, you're a shining example of just because you're in the toilet and you are being flushed by somebody, it doesn't mean you need to let yourself be flushed. You can hold on to the rim and just
I was
don't know.
Holding on to that rim.
I'm sorry. I can't think of another analogy. Okay. You're being buried alive and you have your own shovel that you are trying to at the same time. Or have you heard the story about the donkey that it was getting really old? So someone tried to, I think it's a metaphor. I don't think it's an actual story, but someone tried to bury this donkey alive. And with every shovelful of this old farmer tried to bury this donkey, the donkey, instead of letting itself like get buried, it just took a step onto the dirt. And then eventually it was able to walk out. And hopefully in my mind, it kicked the old farmer in the face. But it's just very cool that you're like, not a rags to riches story, but you were wronged by a lot of people that shook your trust a ton. You had some guardian angels along the way, but like just from your moxie and being able to rally, like you were able to come out of it, buy a house, support your family, have a baby. Like babies are expensive, which is no surprise to you because you've been planning for one. So, but yeah, like way to go. Kudos to you.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say the key thing with the whole donkey thing is that it shakes the dirt off its back.
That's what I said.
No, you just said it stands on top of the dirt.
No, I said that it.
Okay.
It did.
Yeah.
We have a witness.
We'll go back and listen to it, I guess.
I just heard the donkey thing. I know what you meant.
I said it, instead of having it fall and stay on its back, it stepped up.
Okay.
Which is...
Same thing.
Okay.
The
point I was getting to is that you have to shake it off. So like in your case, you could have just let it bury. You could have just let it. I did
for a while.
Right. You felt the weight on your shoulders. And what happens to people is they feel this weight and they see the dirt coming up to their waist and their chest and their neck. And they're thinking, why am I getting buried alive? And it's like, because you're not shaking off the dirt, because you're not taking any action to rise above the things that are trying to weigh you down.
Or I might as well just like dive my head underneath the dirt. And if I'm in this much debt, I might as well just add to it and go ham and live this bougie lifestyle. Like, I think that's another thing that people do. They're not just asking like, why am I here? Weird. There's the other side of the coin where it's like, screw it. Like I can just declare bankruptcy later. Like when it's a bigger amount, why not go hard now.
Did you say
Go
the other
bigger.
side of the corn?
Probably. It's like I want
It's the end of the show. We're,
I
we're
want to
running out of
defend
juice
myself
here.
and like fervently say yes. I said coin. I could have said corn.
I like the other side of the corn anyways.
I mean, it's way more abstract. It makes you think a little bit more.
What is-
Coin is way too easy. Because am I just talking about like a corn kernel? Am I talking about like this puffed up piece of corn, like popcorn? Or am I talking about an unhusked or
Okay.
husked?
I don't know
what's
what
it
you're
called?
talking about anymore.
What's a thing? A shaft of corn?
Ear?
Ear. An ear of corn.
A shaft
I was going to say a rod of corn.
Okay. Do you have any last words for the people, Ian? Any advice? Anything you want to say about fitness, wealth, anything at all, man?
What's your number one advice to give someone the power to live well and wealthy?
Know what you want and ask questions, because it's guaranteed there's people who have been in your exact shoes before and have done it, and you could always learn from someone. Don't ever try to do it yourself, because I tried to do it myself and I wasted a lot of years just trying to figure it out when I could have just asked people some questions. Put your pride away and learn. That's all. That's my biggest thing. Just put your pride away and learn.
I freaking love it, man.
That's seriously so awesome. So takeaway from this episode is drop your ego, ask questions, ask big questions, even if it's for help, not just education. But Ian is a shining example of that. And we have loved having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here, Ian. Where can people find you if they loved your story and want to see this beautiful tiny waist that you talked so much about and your beautiful wife? Where can they find you?
In Pocatello, Idaho.
No, like your Instagram handle. It's 2019. Come on.
Instagram? No, I'm just at Ian Hough.
Wow, you're that unique that your name is your username?
Yeah.
That's so lucky. Good for you. Awesome.
So is mine. You're not impressed with mine.
Well, your last name is Spawn, spelled like John. Like it's
pretty sweet. I know.
pretty
It's
sweet.
your last name too.
It is my last name. And weirdly enough, there are like 4 Hannah Spawns. So
That's weird.
I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Hannah.
This is Derek.
And we so appreciate you tuning in and listening to our fun little podcast called Wealthy. You can find me online at Instagram at Health by Hannah, and that will just link you to all my other places you can find me.
Yep, same. You can find me on Instagram just at Derek Spawn, DerekSpohn. We also have a lot of other places. Hannah, where can they find Wealthy?
So Wealthy is just at Wealthy Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have an email, but it's linked to all those social accounts. So whatever. But thank you for listening to episode 12. As always, rate, review, subscribe, follow Chesty on Instagram at ChestyPup. Just kidding. You don't have to. I just like to have Derek roll his eyes at my outros. So love you guys. Thank you again for listening. Catch you later.